this come? Ah, yeah. Okay. I think it's now recording. Yeah. Okay. So let's start. So we want to demonstrate how to do a virtual match and also repeat a little bit of the rules and how to use the game controller. And let's start with this page. You can find it here. Just go to the SSL website and then virtual tournament. And that's mainly basically the entry point for the special procedure for things that are not in the official rules, because they are more specific to this year's setup. So each match will have a primary and a secondary referee. Can also find the assignment. Also quickly try to repeat this. And, can go to the starting page, then that was not the correct one. I think that was the correct one. And then the tournament overview in the scheduling app that Selina wrote. And you can see which referees are assigned. And the first one is primary and the second one is secondary. So make sure that you appear in the match if you are listed here, and take a close look. Also, the list will be extended as soon as the group stage is done, because then the scheduling will be dynamic. And yeah, each time it's clear which teams play together, it will be updated. So, and if one refereeing team does not show up, well, what did we say?
Nikolai?
Yes.
A really short interruption regarding the scheduling. The schedule is already dynamic during group stage. There will be matches inserted while it's still group stage.
Okay.
So keep a close eye on this website. It will insert some matches now and then.
You mean if one team already did all
If one group is already finished and another group is already finished, their lucky loser matches might be played while another group is not finished yet.
Okay, okay. Then it's not so many matches, but maybe one or the other might show up in the end of the schedule. All right. Yeah, you can also see the same events on this calendar here in the overall schedule, I think. Yeah, that's the one where you see everything. And this is automatically populated with the new events, I hope, if everything works. And you can also include this calendar, I think, or the individuals in your own calendar app. So you should also see new items appear there. So you can have it, for example, on your phone or something like this. Okay, back to this. Yeah, so what we say here is, yeah, so the refereeing teams and also basically all teams that are participating in the match should show up at least 5 minutes before the scheduled start time. The primary refereeing team will provide the main referee, which has the full control over the match. So he or she is fully responsible for starting the match as soon as possible, and also can take all the decisions that have to be taken. Yeah, he or she can consult the assistant referee from the other team if in doubt, or if it's absolutely unclear, then you can also ask OC or TC. I hope this will work with, for example, Gather Town or on Discord, that you can reach someone. Yeah. So if yeah, so if you are refereeing and you don't show up 5 minutes before the game, just to avoid any delays, we said then automatically the secondary refereeing team will take the role of the primary team, so that we don't have to delay the because we don't know if maybe the team just fall asleep or so. We can't really reach them easily, so the other team will be the fallback. Yeah, so and if one of the playing teams is not showing up within 10 minutes after the scheduled starting time, that's the same as if a team forfeits. So in the group stage, the other team can have the chance to play on an empty goal to score up to 10 goals, like it's described in the rules for collecting points in the group stage. And if after the group stage, it's automatically a 1. So also make sure that if you have any technical issues, that you try to reach someone to let them know. So then we can maybe clarify something, but we really need to stick close to the schedule, as things can get really complicated. Otherwise, ask Toby. Okay, so that's for the initial stuff. Now we have Carla, which is who is the primary referee, and Selina, who's a game controller operator. And yeah, I think we don't use the assistant referee now, but you usually have one as well. It's just a backup for the primary, who also watches the game and just helps in there are some uncertainties. Okay, so now I'll move this here next to it so we can hopefully see both. I hope you don't have a too small screen and can still read something. So the first thing that a referee should do is go to the, let me quickly go to the respective field, go to the game controller. You will be asked for a password if you haven't entered one. This is the one I gave you also for the team. So you have a team password, username is your team name, and you have a random password that's different for each field. And you use this for the VNC access, and also for accessing this game controller operator, and also for this app where some pages are protected. And also when the match, so starting tomorrow, there will be only the refereeing teams, and the admin user will have access to the game controller, so that not all teams can manipulate something in this UI. So I hope this will work. We will see then. But in theory, only the refereeing teams will get access to this UI. Yeah, so the first thing that you then do in this UI is you go to the settings menu and you go to start new game. Confirm this so that everything is reset. Then you go to, it's also written here, start a new game. Now you enter the correct team names. Of course, you also have to, you can either just enter it for any color, or directly ask the teams, or maybe you already see it. I think it's this way, but we also come to this later. Okay, so we have the team names entered. We make sure that both authors are connected. This is shown here. They are both connected. It can happen that some are not connected. If something crashed or so, then either one of the TCOC can restart the container, or you can just do a little bit where the authors need to send something back, because they will reconnect as soon as they send something to the game controller, and in the meantime they can't detect that they lost connection. That's something we need to fix for next year, I think, with a ping also. Yeah, but just that you know, I hope that most of the time this should be fine. Okay, so then we check if all the game events are for both autorefs, so you can set them for each autoref. You can set each game event individually, if they should be accepted, if they just should be logged and not considered automatically or completely ignored, so that they are not shown at all. So if you encounter any issues with one of the or the other autoref, that's the option where we can directly ignore it, and we don't need to touch the actual autorefs. But please also hold contact with the TCOC if you encounter any issues, so that we can also validate and decide if we will do this for all remaining matches. Yeah, and just for now, we will just check that everything is correctly set, because others might have played around with it. And then also we check if here in this view, everything is set to majority. That should be the default mode that we are running, except if you have issues with that, because then with majority, game events will only be actually sent if both autorefs agree or send the same event within a short amount of time. So that makes it a bit more robust if one of the autorefs has some bugs, or just it's not so obvious that the foul happened. Yeah. Okay, that's the 5 steps for initialize a game controller. And now that you can do before the teams will actually arrive. And now we will do the match preparation. That's also written in the rules. It's also linked here. So you should also have read this, or you can go through this here. But we also write this down here again, because some things might be different. So first of all, you need to determine a contact person per team. So I will now ask ER-Force, who will be the main contact person for our match.
That would be me.
Can you tell me the name again? I haven't seen it.
I'm Marco.
Marco. Okay. So I would theoretically also need, maybe something to write it down, but you can manage this your own. Okay, and I will ask Tigers, and I guess I will be the one, because I have everything prepared already. So yeah, that's clarified now. That's a robot handlers. So then the question, do you want to play with Division A or Division B? I can ask ER-Force, do you want to play Division A or B?
We want to play Division A.
All right, and Tigers does want to as well, so we will play with Division A. If one of the teams would have said they want to play Division B, then we would play with Division B. In this case, we would switch here this button to Division B, and then some things will be triggered in the background. There are some settings that will change, like the robot count. Also, some rules will change, how the game controller will interpret them, and also the simulator will be updated with the Division B geometry, so it will be reset. We can also quickly check this, maybe, just to be sure. Go to field A, Vision Viewer. If we say Division B, then we'll see it's reset, and then it takes a moment, and then also the robots will be removed that are too much. And now we go back to Division A, it's reset again, and after some time I think there will be 16 robots in the beginning, and now it's only 11 robots. Okay, so that's fine. And we can go on. We determined the team colors. We already seen before, I think, that ER-Force are not, everything is reset here. ER-Force will play blue, I think, and Tigers will be yellow. If you entered this wrong here initially, you can say switch colors, and the colors will be switched, and you don't need to choose team names again. All right, so then we will determine the first kickoff. So you can either like turn your webcam on and actually flip a coin if you like. You can also go to random.org and I want a number from 1 to 2. 1 is Tigers and 2 is ER-Force. What did I say? ER-Force. So ER-Force will have the first kickoff. We will check if this is correct here. Right. First kickoff team is blue. Okay, it's especially important for the second half because the game controller will automatically offer you the correct team colors next command also now, so you don't have to remember which team had kickoff in the first half. All right, and the last question is here. We ask each team if they have a special initial keeper ID that they want to have. We can also see, to shorten this, that both teams are connected with the team protocols, so most likely they will choose their keeper their own, but still I'll ask ER-Force, do you want to change your keeper ID?
Yes, we would robot number 2 to be our keeper.
All right, then. Yeah, team protocol does not offer this, or well, ours would also not, if the 0 ID is there. Okay, so ER-Force has changed the goalkeeper to 2. Right. Now starts the game. It's a scheduled time. Well, we are a little bit off, but that was as expected, as I explained a lot. So now we ask teams if they are ready. So ER-Force, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
That's cool. Tigers needs to check if they are ready. But I think, I hope that everything is fine here. Yeah, okay, we will see. All right, then we will start with, or maybe quickly before we start, I will go a little bit through the UI here, because afterwards it will be a little bit more stressful. Yeah, maybe first of all, the upper part here, you will see the overall match time, the total time left in the stage, the total time elapsed in the stage, the current score, the current stage, the current command, and it's getting interesting. That's the next command. So this is not what's sent right now, but this is what would be sent next based on what happened previously. So you will usually also see it here in the continue button, but just that you know, you can see here what would happen next, and also the color for which team, so you can check if this is what you will intend. And here you will see the remaining time for the current action. This is interesting for no progress, and also for the direct, for the free kick, where you only have 5 seconds for Division A and 10 seconds for Division B to perform the kickoff. This time will just run down then in these cases. Then you will have, so the new event you don't need usually. This is more for special cases where you actually have a game event that you want to enter that was not detected by an autoref, and which might help you not updating everything manually or for documentation. And then you have this stage button where you can, for example, proceed to halftime later. But for the first half, this will be done automatically when we start the kickoff. And then we have this, which is probably not so much intuitive. This can be switched to manual in this case, in any time when the game controller would be able to automatically continue the match because it knows the board is at the right place, the robot's at the right place, I know which command can come next, then usually it will just go on and the match will continue. You don't have to do anything. That's quite handy, and especially if ball placement was done, the game is immediately restarted afterwards without any stop. If you make this to manual, the game needs to be stopped. Yeah, you can switch this to manual if you say, okay, next time I will have to control what's happening next, and I just want the game controller to stop do things automatically. Then make it to manual, but otherwise just keep it at automatic and everything will hopefully go smooth. And then we have this team overview. You already see here, you can stop and start editing. You can edit all the information manually if required. If something goes wrong, if there were wrong detections, whatever, you can fix it here. You can also react to requests from the teams. I think interesting might be, for example, the timeout request. This is for the case when the game is still running, but a team says, I want to do a timeout next time it's possible, which is only during stop, not during game. You can just tick this switch and the game controller will handle this automatically at the next stop. So you don't have to remember this yourself. Also for bot substitution, I guess we won't need this during the simulation because robots should not be broken. This is more than for the real competition where you can also request the bot substitution at the next stoppage. The challenge flags is also explained in the rules. That's also new, I think. Yeah, I think I will not go into detail here now. It's in the rules and it's for if you want to challenge any decision by the referee, you have a chance to do this 3 times. Also, the emergency stop will not be used this year, I suggest, because first of all, we don't have the remote control yet. That was planned for teams on the field, and second, there's usually no emergency in the simulator. Yeah, but it's in the rules, so theoretically you would be allowed to use it, and in this case, it would be triggered here by the game controller operator, and yeah, will stop the game immediately with all the rules described in the rulebook. Yeah, and here you can see if teams are connected, as I said before. And now I think yeah, okay, and you see here the robot protocol, the game protocol, and all the other things. We will come to it after there's something going on here. All right, I think I talked way too much now, and I think everyone waits to have the game started. So let's start. Selina, do you want to do what I command you?
Yes, of course.
First of all, I think we need also the field view because otherwise it's not interesting. Let me open it. I think if I do the spectator view, that's a little bit too much for my screen. So I will, let me remove the other thing as soon as this menu is disappeared. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now hit stop, hit the continue stop button at the bottom. All right, I think we forget to switch sides, but the robots will handle this automatically. All right, and you see the game controller already continued.
5, wie so Kick-Off zu Gegnern.
Are you talking to the main channel or did you forget to mute?
Ja, also er hat ihn halt in die Gegner reingeschossen,
I think
hat
channel.
nicht gepasst.
So you're in the wrong channel. Okay. let's just simulate a little bit, and then we might see some interesting things in the game controller. But now it's getting interesting. Oh, that's a double touch by yellow. You can also see in the UI that here's a group of both the double touch events. And it's marked with a green group thing, so you can see that that's the both that made the majority. And now we see that it looks like someone thinks, mainly the author thinks that the blue robot is too close. But the ER-Force author does not, and as a game controller uses the vision tracking stuff from Tigers. That's probably also the reason why this here is red, because the game controller also thinks that the blue one is too close. But I can now hardly tell if this is correct. I think it's pretty incorrect. Oh wait, the ball placement position is somewhere else. Interesting. Okay, so now the referee comes into play and needs to decide which how to proceed. So Carla, you have to decide now.
It's too close to the defense area, right? Not to the ball.
Oh, one should read the events closely. That's something else. That's correct. And it's robot 0. It's up down here. Okay, now I can only consult the team software, but also this does not look correct. So I think we have to analyze this later. If this is a bug or something, you can now decide. I mean, based on this view, I would say it's okay. And
I mean, visually, it looks like 4 is closer than 0, so I would say just continue.
Yeah. So now you can say, so we don't accept this here. We could accept it here. So that's the proposed events. So, you can also see here new proposal in contrast to the new game event. So it's only proposed by one autoref. It's not actually counted. So also it's not a foul. The foul counters are still 0. You can decide if this would be correct. You can accept it here. Now my dishwasher is ready. And if not, then you can also just say, okay, everything is fine, let's continue. I think you can hit it, Selina. Should be possible, yes. Okay, and we just continue without having any fouls. Okay, it looks like only one autoref is detecting the succeedment of the ball placement.
Eine akkurate Simulation, ich merke schon.
Oh yeah, it's quite close to the line. It might be correct or not. So the placement failed and the other team did placement and the game continued.
Wir haben schon wieder zu schnell geschossen. Oh, I was also in the wrong channel, I'm sorry.
We'll also see that sometimes the ball is somewhere on the robots or so. That's mainly because the ball is occluded by the robots, and the stuff we see here is from the tracking from TIGERs Autoref. So sometimes it needs to do some best guess. And also, if you see the ball growing, this is indicating a chip kick. And I also must say that only because the ball was shortly big, this does not need to be a chip kick, because sometimes the tracking needs some microseconds or milliseconds to correctly detect it. So maybe it was just shortly large and then got small enough again, then it was just the wrong detection. That's especially interesting for goal kicks, where it might happen that the chip, the kick initially looked like a chip kick, but then wasn't. You would see this in the game protocol, in the game event, so you can see the max height of the goal kick. Oh, that was a goal, I think. So you see the goal was, the game was halted. So now we can see here, what can we see? There were some proposals that were already handled, and there was a possible goal that was raised. It was also accepted. Participants can now see my screen. That's cool. I hope you can still see everything. So we can see now here that's a possible goal. We can see both authors agreed upon this. We can also see here some meta information. So the max ball height was 0. Number of robots of the team was 10 because one had a yellow card. That's interesting because you are now within Euros, you are allowed for a short time to have more than the allowed robots, so that you have time to remove your robot from the field. But in this time, you are not allowed to shoot a goal. So that it's also all automatically detected, but just if you are not sure, you can have a look here. You might find some details. Also, this is the merged one, where it's basically a random which meta information is used. So if you want to see what the individual autorefs said, you can also look here. And maybe, for example, here you see the last touch by team is interestingly just the timestamp. That's really useful. But it differs between the autorefs, and sometimes one has better information than the other, or some may not have information at all. So now that this year might be interesting. We see that this happened just before, and it was only set by the TIGERs auto referee. It's a ball speed of 6.58, so a little bit above the threshold. And so ER-Force autoref did not detect it. That's the same as in real RoboCups. Now the referee has to decide if it trusts the information from the TIGERs autoref, maybe because it has a better fitting or because it's known for not so good fitting. I can tell you that the TIGERs autoref does a little bit more fitting to estimate the initial ball speed, so it's quite good. But I mean, this is 0.0 point something. It's not always so unique. So now, Carla, as a referee, you can say, do you trust this information and say the goal kick was too fast, or do you accept the goal and say, okay, that's fine?
The difference was small, so I'll accept the goal.
All right. That's also good for demonstration purposes, because I can show you how to accept the goal. That's also quite important, so that you don't forget. You will see the possible goal did not increase the score yet, because that's the whole intent, that you can evaluate. There are not so much goals, so we want humans to review everything. We have this checkbox here. It also says accept this goal. And you have to press this one if it's an actual goal. And I hope, I also fixed the stuff. It's counted as a goal, blue has a goal, and that's interesting. I think there are proposals during halt. That's probably the to-do for ER-Force. And now we can, Selina, you can go on with the continuous stop below. Yes. And I think, yes, it's already, oh. By the way, also always have a look on the time, especially as Selina, the game controller operator. We still have some time left, but always good to have a look at it. So this looks like, now that's no progress in game. Interesting. And let's force start. Oh, wow, that was pretty fast. But it was not clear which one it is. So we could say now, oh, that's too late. We can have a look at it later. I also demonstrate the manual mode here quickly. So we see now it did a stop, and we see also at the bottom, the continue button is marked with green. This says the game controller would be ready to do the continue, but as we switch to the manual mode, it does not so automatically. So you have your time to vary any stuff, and then can also click it here manually or switch to auto, and it will automatically continue. And I just wanted to say here, no, it was not the crash. It was the too fast kick. And so here we have the problem. This is not the stopping foul, so the game will continue. But we will see, okay, both autorefs detected it, but they didn't agree on the team that did the kick initially, so they will not come to a majority. So this is something where the game controller operator has to have a look at, and then to make sure that we stop the game before it's continuing. and to ask the referee how to proceed with it. In this case, I don't know, maybe someone saw which one was at fault, and the kick speed was obviously too strong. But now in this case, it was just two proposals that didn't go anywhere into account. So I think we just leave it now. We could do, if it's a really tough game, we could say, okay, we give this event now manually with this new event stuff, but we can't from here accept this anymore because it's already gone from this buffer, which is cleared after the game continues. So ideally, it should be fast enough as the game controller operator to stop the game before it's continuing. All right, then I think, Selena, you can hit the auto button again so that we can continue. And now it's starting. Oh.
We are out of time.
All right. Oh, that's nice. We have a new thing for demonstration. Let's see what's happened. Sorry, Selena, what did you say?
That we're out of time.
Ah, yes, that's also good. Then we handle this afterwards. So we will see again there's a possible goal. We can also have a look at it. Okay, all right. And let's also check what is the cause for the invalid goal. It is by the game controller, and it says scoring team had 11 robots in the field, but only 10 were allowed. Interesting. So yeah, this is saying we have 11. We can also check in the possible goal. ER-Force referee said they had 11. Tigers said they had 11, and as it looks like, they even now have still one yellow card. So I guess, yeah, that's you can see it here in the protocol. They had a bot kicked ball too fast before with 6.6. That sounds also fair, and both authors agreed this triggered a multiple fouls event. By the way, you also see all the 3 fouls that caused this multiple fouls now, and that triggered a yellow card, and just quickly afterwards they scored the goal. So yeah, that seems, the invalid code seems correct. It's just bad luck, I would say, but that's the rules. And maybe even this bot kick too fast might be the goal kick. When I have a look at these times here, I'm pretty sure that was a goal kick. So now we can ignore this accept goals stuff here and would just hit continue normally. But as Lena pointed also out, we are already 24 seconds after the stage time. So as a referee, so the game controller operator correctly notified us, especially the main referee, and Carla as main referee can now decide to go into halftime. And I guess she will do so. We can go
halftime.
I mean, we don't need to wait the halftime, I guess. We can just, first of all, things.
So Team Air Force would like to have the halftime.
Okay, so one after the other. First of all, go to the button on the upper left to proceed to halftime, Selina. All right, you will see that maybe robots will move or not. And we are in halftime, the time is counting, and now, as Evers already stated, we will use the halftime and people can maybe go to toilet or something in this break. Yeah, so I will be silent now and also watch our stuff. Okay, it's halftime. Time is almost up. So ER-Force, are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
That's cool. I think Tigers is also ready. Color, it's your turn. You to continue the match. Well, yeah, okay. By maybe I tell how to do this. So you have this proceed to the pre-second half button on the top. So as soon as Carla says we will continue, Selina can hit this button and then we can go on.
Okay, so are both teams ready?
Yes.
Yes, ER-Force is ready.
Okay. Just one random question. Do we still have timeouts like for the game?
Yeah, no team has taken a timeout yet.
Yes. It would be nice if one team would like to take a timeout so we could show how it works.
All right, let's do this after shortly after the second half, when
Okay.
it doesn't matter anymore.
So we're gonna switch sides, right? Did it do
Yeah,
that automatically?
that's good for demonstration. That's correct. So we will, in general, the rules say if teams agree to stick with the side, then they can stick. If one of the teams want to switch sides, I think, then the sides are switched. And same for colors, but if in doubt, then consult the rules again. I don't have any all sentences in my head.
I think for the colors is the same. If both teams agree to stay with the same color, you stay
Yeah,
with
I mean, for the simulation, I hope this should not matter, but if any team insists on switching colors, then this is of course also possible. Then you would do the switch colors and the teams would need to make sure that they also switch their AI to use the other color. I think we will skip this here now. That's mostly team dependent if this will work or not. But we will do the switch sides. I will quickly just do it. I will hit it and you will also see Tigers is still doing things and they will position on the other side. So it seems to have worked. All right. And then I think we can go on. And this view reminded me that we maybe should talk about some Division B special things afterwards. But let's first of all do the second half.
Can we go?
Yeah, we can start the match then.
Okay.
No, that was correct, incorrect, but it's also nice for demonstration. You only go to the half pre-stage because this is the one where we do the kickoff. The second half is done by the engine afterwards. You would need to click the stop button so that robots have the chance to position themselves. So now we have the case that it's we did something wrong and how to fix that. Especially with the stages, you can't go backwards by intent, but instead you use the revert feature, which is possible for all log lines where the symbol is shown. And what will happen is the state is reset to the one that was before this line was applied. So you could also do this here further down, but then everything above it would be removed, also the goals and stuff. Now we just want to revert the second half thing. So we click this and we will see we are back to the pre-second half. And now again, Selina this time hits the continue stop button at the bottom. All right. Oh. Now we also have an interesting example. I did the manual control shortly to explain it. We can see here the green dotted group, and we see that the colors differ. And this is by intent, because for the ball left field events, because if both autorefs detected the ball left field, but for different colors, obviously the ball left the field, but it was not clear which team it was. But instead of just ignoring both and continuing the game, it will be accepted. But the game controller actually can't decide which color was at fault. So basically it just flips a coin. There's nothing better to do. Interesting. You can now, in this case, or the game controller operator should notify the referee in this case, make sure that the game does not continue, and the referee needs to decide which team was at fault and might need to correct the next command. So let's see how will this work. So we say now, okay, actually I haven't seen it, but I would say, okay, yellow kicked it out, so blue should get the direct kick. So we don't want to continue with the suggested command for yellow, but we want to have a direct kick for blue instead. So basically we just say, okay, everything is ready. We would send the direct for yellow, but instead we go to this manual control view on the left, and we say we give a direct kick. And afterwards we can switch back to auto mode. So Selina, could you try this?
Sorry. Direct blue, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also set, I will do it to automatic. Oh. Can't exit it. Just it's for the false start. Okay. Oh. That seems to be a valid goal. So for repetition, Carla, you have to decide if this was a valid goal first.
Yeah, it seems like a valid goal. There was no fault before, so yeah.
All right. So Selina, you can do the accept exactly, and the game will. You have to actually press a continue stop actively. If the button is gray, then it does not do anything automatically. If it's red or blue, then it will. This kickoff is so funny. All right, false, no progress. Yes. It might be that the blues are too close, but I'm not sure. Looks pretty strict. As a referee, I would just continue here, I think. And we can also have a look in the autorest why this is so strict later. So Carla, you can decide to just let Selena do the continuous force start if you're in the situation.
Yeah, we should just continue. They seem to be a good distance.
Okay, again, that seems to be some bug with distance checking. Probably we have to see it in the logs. So just, I think, Carla, you can just go on again.
But it's stopping because of the position or because of the force start?
Okay, for explanation, for Selena, you can see now that that the continue button is red. This is indicating that the positions are not valid. So red is the indicator for game controller waits for some condition to met, which is usually the robot positions. And if you see this is not changing, or the robots are still, you should tell Carla, the referee, that that it does not proceed automatically, and Carla can then decide if it's still fine and gives a command manually, and then you just hit the red button.
Yeah, so we can just continue then.
Okay, Team Air Force wants to have a timeout.
That's cool.
Okay, so on the next, we stop?
Oh, I did this as well.
What happened?
All right, so let's see what happened. It's now a little bit. First of all, set this to manual so that nothing happens. Okay, we are in stop. Okay, that's cool. We are not in timeout yet. Okay. Yeah, maybe we were just too not fast enough. Now you can give the timeout. Let's see how does this work. Ah, yeah. You can use the start timeout buttons on the left in the menu for Air Force. Hit it, and then Air Force is allowed to touch the system. Oh, by the way, that's also for teams interested. You can, if you Okay. You can view the screen of the other teams just to make to allow for supervising if teams really only touch the system during a timeout. And you can do so with this. If you go to the initial screen, you have your own team and you have a view thing for all the other teams where you click on, like I was on ER-Force. And you also, if you were there, you also have this quick jump between different sessions. So you can also have this in the bottom to watch it. And ER-Force is doing.
Okay, so we want to call end of timeout.
All right. Okay, Selena pressed the end of timeout button. Everything is positioned back. Yeah, you see that the counter was decremented. They took exactly 1 minute timeout, so they have 4 minutes left. And I guess we can continue. The detection does not work again, so we have to do this manually. And also we have to go back to the auto mode. So Selena, continue. There's 1 minute left. ER-Force has a broken chip kicker. And we still have a bug. Selena, as a game control operator, can also tell the referee that the time is running out shortly so that she knows.
Ten more seconds.
And the referee can then decide if it wants to continue the current situation or and can say at a certain point to stop the game or let it run until the next stop. It's up to the referee. Yeah, usually the referee sees if the current situation is potential, like this. Else she could also have said earlier to stop the game. If she says, okay, time ran out and the ball just rolls around the field randomly, there's no unique chance for any team, then she could also stop it at that time. But now we have a third goal. She hasn't stopped it, so the goal is also counted. Although the game's time is already negative. She can decide now again if it's valid and then do the end of game stuff. I explain this afterwards. But Carla, I guess you say it's a valid goal.
Yeah, so valid goal and end of game then.
All right. So yeah, and Selena, you can now hit the end of game button at the top, correct? This is pretty important because otherwise we won't do this cheering play. No, mainly because all the games are automatically recorded, and with the end of game thing, you stop the recording. So if you don't do this, the log is growing unnecessarily, and yeah, that's not fun for those who want to download them. So yeah, while the robots have some fun, I still have some points that I want to say that we haven't seen. So the timeout stuff is now done. But one thing that we can now have a look at, and usually also during a game maybe, is this fouls thing here. We can go to this pen icon and we can actually see all the fouls that the team got. So that before that was just a counter and you couldn't really see which fouls they were. And you couldn't do anything about it. Now you have this course attached to it, so it's easier to review. And you can also remove some fouls again. If you later see, oh, one of the fouls, it was not correct, or there were too many false detection, then you can remove it here. You have to keep in mind the game controller is not yet that clever that it reverts all the other changes that were involved in incrementing the fouls, especially if you have some modulo 3 foul number, like now with 9, the 9th foul should have triggered the 3rd multiple foul game event, which in turn triggered a yellow card. So if you remove one of the fouls, you would also need to remove one of the yellow cards. This is not done automatically because if you imagine if I now remove one of the fouls, which yellow card should it remove? Just the game continued and everything is completely different. So if you really have to correct things afterwards, after some other things happened, you really have to see at the state. And in this case, for example, okay, there are still yellow cards. So you could say, okay, that's only the yellow cards that are all over. There's no active yellow cards, so we could not even remove any cards anymore. But we can also see here that all the 3 yellow cards that the team got over the overall match were all caused by multiple fouls. So this seems all correct so far. If the fouls were correct, I can't tell. That will be revealed in the log analyze. You can also see the Tigers did 1 time attacker too close to defense area. All right. Yeah, so in that way you can review it a little bit. And also you can take the protocol to see how this all this went in the temporal time thing. So maybe this will help. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. And then the last thing I wanted to say is, with the ball placement in Division B, that's of course for all Division B games also an interesting question. So the rules are used as they are defined in the rulebook, and they say if you play with Division A rules, both teams are required to do ball placement. So if you have a Division A match, you would not change this trigger here because it's against the rules. But if you change to Division B, you can, if a team says at the beginning of the game or at any time within the game, they don't want to do ball placement, you switch it off here. I can demonstrate it, I think. Should not happen too much here. I will disable it, and the game controller will respect this information. You can also see here it's red marked. And the rules also say that if the other team still does a placement, it will also do so for the opponent team. That might be a bit confusing if you don't know this. But yeah, as soon as you know, you will see that, okay, so the blue team is placing the ball and afterwards its stop is done, the robots move away and then the yellow team gets the direct free kick as initially intended. That's just so, especially for the real matches where if one team actually can do good ball placement to save some time. And if both teams have this switched off, then if the one team or both teams failed, then the ball is teleported automatically to the target position. Yeah, I think that's all from my notes. And I think now we can also open small question round if there are any other things to clarify or to discuss.
Could you also show where to input the results of the match?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go back to this thing here. So we did the match. Make sure that the game is switched to the end of game stage. We did so. Submit the okay. That's a to-do for someone from OC or TC. But we already showed you the UI. This link should direct you to this tab, I think. And yeah, I will log in with my admin account now, but you can also log in with your team's account. This should have the exact same access rights as the game controller. So what you should do here is, first of all, we enter the match. We can't select the current date because it's only enabled starting tomorrow. That won't work today, I think. And we also say here that the game started at 12. I guess it should fit exactly.
Yes.
Should also be AM.
Nikolai, the game started at 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, we have 12 here. We had 12 here. Yeah, that's also good to note. Remember that you have to do it in UTC time. Yeah, then you say, okay, team A. Selina, I guess team A and B is the order does not matter, right?
No, the order does matter.
Does matter, okay.
Yeah,
Ah,
but in the overview, it also says which one was team A and which one
Okay,
was
so
team
you have to consult this overview and see which information were here, and the formula takes this into account. So we don't know how this were, and we would also enter here 3 versus 0, and then we would submit it. And I guess, yeah, the game has not yet started, so we can't do this, but I hope it will work as soon as actual matches were there. I'm pretty sure that this will work. And I think then you should already see it here, right?
Yes, it will be there immediately.
Immediately, yeah. And it might also be the trigger, or it's triggered by time, I don't know, to schedule the next matches.
Yeah, every 5 seconds we check if there are new results. And if I get new results, then the scheduler will see if there are new schedule or new matches to be scheduled.
Okay. Okay, when we are here now, we can also quickly go to this one, right? So the idea is that we can also, it's not working now either because of technical issues. As soon starting tomorrow, you can also request friendly time slots here. So you can see the requests here, and you can request it on this page. I think you can log in with your team account. It's this thing. Oh, I hope it's not coupled with the referee stuff. Yeah, you can submit it here, and then I think the tool is checking if this is possible. And
yeah, so you can already request friendlies, but only from tomorrow onwards. So you cannot request friendlies for today.
All right.
So yeah, you can put the request in, and then in the overview, it will say pending if we're still checking it, or accepted, and then it will also be written to the calendar, so you can also see it in the schedule, or it is denied, and then it's not possible to play a friendly at that time. Are you sure you want to
Okay,
try this now?
No. Are you sure? Oh, no, it's reset now. I don't want to. Yeah, I think it will work. If it does not, then we'll fix it soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we tested it and it should work.
All right. Yeah, then we have this other calendar also for today. Oh, I think. Oh, never mind. I'm thinking loud. Any other questions or points?
I have a short note for the referee. The rules pushing and ball holding are not handled by the auto referees. So all referees will have to do these rules manually, though it's likely only pushing in some situations. Ball holding, I haven't seen it yet during a RoboCup, I think.
Yeah, I think ball holding is more towards hardware things. I think the simulator bots should not be able to hold the ball.
No, ball holding is about surrounding the ball with multiple robots, I think, so that the other team does not get access to the ball.
Yeah, that could also be. Yeah, but it's a good note. There are some things that just can't be detected by the auto refs. So the referee still has some duties during the game to watch for. Okay. So there's nothing else. 1 hour and a half. That's okay, I would say. I hope the normal matches are faster, but I talked a lot. So thank you for watching. I hope that the recording worked, and I will stop it now if I can.